Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, my dad just slapped me. Update, my dad slapped me. Mini update, my dad slapped me. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My dad just slapped me. I'm still at shock with what just happened. My dad came home a few hours ago from a business trip, and since he's been home he has been on me and my grandma's ass. Ordering us around, making fun of us on a personal level. Pretty much being a jerk. Then, if that wasn't enough, he started making fun of my acne, and even tried to pop it. When I refused, he beat me with a tube of toothpaste. My grandma screamed for him to stop. I told him that he was clearly tired and he needs to sleep. He does this sometimes, but not quite as violent, to which he slapped me really hard, so I punched him 3x harder instead. That seemed to have snapped him back to reality because he started questioning what happened. I was totally confused, like how can it happen that a grown man in his 50s has no memory of how much of a jerk he was for the last 5 hours. My grandma ordered him to go to bed and he complied. I think something happened at his work. I will update again once I figure out what has happened. Edit, found the edit button. I have already made an update, but basically he was stressed and burnt out. He does not have a brain tumor or diabetes, even though diabetes runs in the family. I understand a lot of you fearing for my safety, and I am thankful of that. My father 99% of the time is a calm and gentle soul. He is not known to be the violent type. My mother is. It's clear my dad is stressed out. Someone asked how it was 3 hours of sleep or something. I failed to mention that the whole situation happened around 12 a.m. 3 hours of him going absolute mental and another 3 hours of him finally passed out. We have an on-call doctor since my grandma is almost 80 years old. Like I mentioned in an updated post, he is fine. I am not going to call the cops on someone who is clearly going through something, and I don't want him to be thrown in the loony bin for his outburst. Blackouts like these aren't normal. Either he's faking them to try and get away with his behavior, or your dad needs medical help ASAP. For real. I know someone who would get memory blackouts and be a real asshole. He became violent and, for lack of a better word, rapey. We videoed him to prove it because when we called it out, when he would calm down he would deny it. He went from teddy bear of a gentle giant to someone who scared me. Dude had a brain tumor. Another possibility is dad took some kind of medication for the flight, Ambien or a benzodiazepine, potentially mixing one or the other with alcohol. This is a powerful combination, routinely causes blackouts or brownouts, and can absolutely cause violent behavior. Tell him to get tested for diabetes. Time to take him to a doctor. Blackouts aren't normal. Hate to even suggest this, but maybe he's faking to try and save face. I hope this isn't the case, but I have to say it. Assuming he didn't lie, blackouts and weird behavior can happen when people are severely sleep deprived. Just generally, those things should be checked by a doctor. Oh my yes. When my insomnia was at its worst, I spent entire days at work only to get home and get in the shower to get ready for work because I didn't remember being there. I have a 6-month span of my adult life that I don't have any memories for. Luckily, the severity of my insomnia is tied to my depression symptoms, and since my meds work quite well, I don't have these unpleasant events anymore. If he's flying into rages and doesn't remember them, he needs a psych eval. I also suggest you and your grandma get away from this man as soon as possible and maybe contact the police. Agree. See if he'll voluntarily seek medical help. If he does not, or if he does this again before his appointments, the next time he lifts his hands to you, call the cops ASAP. Your safety is much more important, and it'll start creating a paper trail of potential abuse/create a history for his doctors. You may also want to keep a personal log of these outbursts, date, time, what happened exactly. It'll either be for your benefit and or his depending on how responsive he is to seeking help. Look up fugue state. My aunt had one. She didn't remember spending the whole weekend with my mom. She didn't remember my mom giving her a car. Nothing. She lost 3 days of her life and cannot remember any of it. Diabetes can cause rage like this. Seek medical assistance. Disassociation/blackouts are a really bad sign. You should get him to a doctor if it happens again as soon as possible. If he is not faking it, he might be sleepwalking. You mentioned something about not sleeping. My father sleepwalks, and once while he was sleeping he could hear a soap opera next door where the girl was moving out of a house. He wake up furious to my sister as to why she was leaving the house. My sister got really scared. When he, seldom, didn't host things, usually my mom just told him to go to sleep and he went. Update: my dad slapped me. So just 3 hours ago he woke up and seemed normal. When we asked him if he has any memory of the other night, he only said vaguely, but said he was having pain on his face, to which I told him that I punched him to snap him out of whatever he was going through. We made an appointment with our doctor to see what is going on. The doctor examined him and we figured out more than just his attitude. Not only was he massively drunk, he was also dehydrated and burnt out and restlessness. The doctor revealed that it's not a common thing for someone to act so violently when under the influence, but with a mix of psychological and health, it was a deadly combination. My dad later revealed that the apartment searching and working and paying and doing all the things, it's been stressing him out. He didn't even sleep the night before because he was having meeting after meeting with companies in a different time zone. He also revealed that he came to our city a few hours early and lied to me and my grandma, stating he was still in the train, but in reality, he was at the bar drinking his situation. It's not like my father to become blackout drunk, so of course it was a shock to the both of us. The doctor prescribed him with some meds and an ointment for the bruise on his face. The doctor did ask how he got punched because the bruising looked bad, to which I told him that I punched him after he slapped me. The doctor jokingly said that whatever demon was running around in my dad, I must have punched the demon right out of him. So he is okay now. I notified his work that he will be off for a couple of weeks, but me and my grandma will keep an eye on him. If he does it again though, my grandma won't hesitate and use the pan. Anyways, it's all good. He is fine, he is sleeping again, so it's done. Nothing severe like diabetes or brain tumor, and no cops were called, just a stressed out 50-year-old. Sounds like your dad needs to get some rest and give up drinking completely. Because if you get drunk and physically assault someone, you have a problem. Best to just avoid it altogether. No one needs to drink. According to OP, their father doesn't drink much and infrequently. It sounds like a combination of being burnt out, stress, and disappointment along with the alcohol. Except an alcoholic. Alcohol is an addictive drug. Once on, bloody hard to get off. I must have punched the demon right out of him. Okay, I know this isn't a jokey sub, but that got a chuckle out of me. If I never need an exorcism, I'm giving you a call first. I hope that your dad can get better. I totally relate with wanting alcohol when feeling stressed close to the point of snapping, but it can get better. What helped me was to learn how to communicate my feelings. If he isn't heavy drinker, then I would suggest for you to bring up the idea of a therapist as a way for him to let the stress out, cause speaking from experience, parents will feel an obligation to keep everything inside until they can figure it out, which is bad. Can confirm, and being a man makes it far worse due to being socialized from an early age that you're less of a man if you express any emotion except anger. People who are blackout drunk can appear sober and lucid, but just seem like complete assholes. Who needs an exorcist when you have your fist? Just gotta punch the demon out. I am glad to hear that this was not a normal situation. If he didn't already, at least he knows now how his mind will react in a situation like that, so he knows to stay away from heavier than normal drinking. If he wants to go to a bar in the future, he should look at bringing someone along just to keep an eye out. If he unintentionally attacks someone, he could end up in a lot of trouble. Mini update: my dad slapped me. Hi. It's been a week since the event of my dad slapping me out, and after the doctor's appointment, I decided to give a mini update on how he is doing and answer some questions. The reason I had to call the work is because my dad is too much of a proud man. There are so many things going on with new companies joining his company, and he has been all over the place making sure things go well. My dad is fine, he was just extremely stressed, which is unusual, but I guess people break down at some point. My dad is in no way a violent man, he is a teddy bear 90% of the time. I told him it was inexcusable for him to treat me the way he did when we tried to help him, but he is constantly in denial unless someone professional tells him he needs to calm down. He apologized, of course, but I warned him I wouldn't hesitate to punch him again if he goes off again. Furthermore, he is not a drinker. At most he would drink one beer and the content would be under 2%. As I mentioned, it's unlike him to be blackout drunk. He is also quite healthy despite his age. Anyways, everything is all good. I failed to make a quick update on his progress. I suggested to him to seek therapy, but again, he is too proud and can't bring himself to do it. Also, to those who are saying to call the cops, check if he has a brain tumor or even saying he has diabetes. Our family does have a history of diabetes, but he doesn't have. Brain tumor is a no, and police definitely not. As I mentioned, he was stressed beyond saving and he needed someone to tell him to calm down. Anyways, all is good, he is doing well, and thank you guys for checking on me. Also, just to let you know, I am a 21M, most of you assumed I was a girl, which is fine because that happens a lot. Despite me not looking anything like a girl, lol. He's not too proud. If he's not horrified with his behavior and going to get help to make sure it doesn't happen, then he's not ashamed of what he did and he will do it again. And if he needs a professional to tell him to calm down, he is emotionally immature and doesn't respect his family. You're making excuses for him. Stress and alcohol aren't excuses, and him being too proud to seek therapy is bunk. IMO, if he won't seek therapy to understand why this happened and make sure it never happens again, he's not actually sorry, he's just saying he is so that there are no further consequences. You are defending him, and this is a dangerous, slippery emotional slope. This happens in many severe abuse cases where the victim takes the blame for the abuser's behavior. It's nothing. I just didn't get the dishes done the way abuser likes it. Dinner wasn't on the table when abuser got home. Your dad needs to seek help for these violent outbursts and to learn to cope with stress, and you need counseling so you can work past this and find your own inner strength and worth. This can also affect your future relationships and family dynamic. This needs to end here and now so the cycle of abuse doesn't continue in you and your future children. So 10% of the time he's violent, not good enough. Violence should never be tolerated ever. Move out up. Or next time report him. Your dad still shouldn't slap you. Being non-violent 90% of the time is not a lot. Most people are non-violent all the time. He's stressed? Honey, no, he's abusive, not stressed. Please stop making excuses for this guy before he hits you again. And worse next time. I'm not sure why you're so convinced it was just a bad day and ruled out diabetes and other options. Did he test for them and it came back negative? Diabetes can develop later in life and there could be a host of other medically possible reasons. Low potassium makes people confused, psychological issues, etc. If it is not a normal occurrence, try to help him now instead of later when it might be possibly worse. It also feels like you want to think it was just a bad day and move on, so do what you want, man. Good luck. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.